President Trump is looking to change several terms of a proposal to end the war on Iran, according to U.S. media. The administration says it's prepared to restart attacks if a deal isn't reached.
We're focused on being postured and prepared to re-engage if we have to. I mean, this is a high-stakes negotiation.
Reports suggest the two sides are close to agreeing on a framework deal. The U.S. has sent a new proposal to their Iranian counterparts, launching another round of negotiations. To understand how close the two sides are to a peace deal and what to make of these renewed threats, I spoke with retired Vice-Admiral Mark Norman earlier.
Well, good morning, David. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I want to speak with you about the possibility of whatever we call it, a ceasefire extension, a 60-day deal, something that gets us to something more enduring. President Trump reportedly sending this deal back to his negotiators. Is it your sense that the president really wants a deal and that this is just fine-tuning?
Yeah, so they're using the language of a new framework. I'm not sure how much of that is branding versus actual practicality. It's clear he wants out of this. There's no denying it. And I think he needs to be able to declare some level of success. And the challenge, of course, is that the Iranians still are, to use his own language, holding more of the cards, I think, than he expected. And so this is going to be a tough go, whether we start over or not. I mean, fundamentally, there's 3 or 4 issues here that haven't changed.
Even when you talk about the Strait of Hormuz, perhaps the Americans didn't expect that the Iranians would hold these cards, but it almost seems as if the Iranians were surprised at how many cards they hold.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, they would have wargamed this. And in fact, I can remember back when I was still serving, these were scenarios that we would have played out. But nonetheless, they really have now ended in a position of relative strength. And the fact that they're exercising the level of control over the strait is disturbing. And they're now talking in their own legislative language about declaring sovereignty over the strait, which is even more concerning as we go forward.
In fact, there is some discussion, and this is hardly locked down, but there's some discussion that Oman, which is on the other side of the strait, along with Iran, would in some future deal potentially control more of that strait. There's been talk of tolling, about that being a more permanent feature. Is tolling what has been an international waterway sustainable?
No, it's not. And I mean, this would be a very disturbing precedent. And I think, notwithstanding the other concerning issues with respect to, the human toll, the damage to Iran, the nuclear program. I mean, to me, this is probably one of the most concerning issues that has to be resolved. And it has to be resolved to the shared satisfaction of the international community, which means we can't be setting precedents that could then be applied potentially to other areas around the world. So long answer, but this can't be an outcome.
I want to talk to you about defense procurement happening in this country, in Canada. And before I go on to the individual files, I just want to ask you, because you headed up the Navy and you were in the senior ranks of the Navy at a time where only one service, the Navy, the Air Force, or the Army, seemed to be able to procure anything at any one time because there just wasn't the money there. When you look at what is happening now, what does it say to you about the change in government tone, in the attitudes of Canadians, that there is a willingness to spend and spend big on defense?
Well, I mean, at the macro level, it's encouraging. Regrettably, it is necessary, and we can't lose sight of that as a geostrategic reality in the world that we find ourselves in. I am very pleased to see the Carney government taking such an active role in leading this. The Prime Minister's participation, for example, in last week's show in Ottawa, CANSEC, was unprecedented, and I think it demonstrates a genuine commitment. Back to your question, however, these are real challenges. They're different challenges. I left in a period of significant constraint. We now have an organization that has to figure out how to expand and grow and do it responsibly, which means even though government and Canadians writ large have agreed to spend billions, tens, hundreds of billions of dollars on these necessary capabilities, we have to do it smartly and we have to do it responsibly.
You mentioned CANSEC, the Prime Minister announcing at that conference that Canada would be pursuing the Global Eye. And this is a Swedish system, a surveillance system that goes on board a Canadian-built aircraft, a multi-billion-dollar contract. In so doing, the Carney government had a choice: go with the Swedish bid or go with one of two American bids. Now, in years past, it would have been more than likely that we would have gone with the American bid. That we didn't this time. What does that say to you?
Yeah, well, we've traditionally taken that path because it was easy, it was convenient, and I think it's an important distinction as we go forward. We're not doing this alone. There's other partners in Europe and elsewhere who are procuring this aircraft. We will be an integrated part of the production and supply chain, which I think is exactly the kind of economic advantage that we want to see and that the Prime Minister and his government have been talking about. And the fact that it is a commercially available aircraft built in Canada means that it's sustainable in the long term. So, I see this as a win-win. Undoubtedly, it is sending messages south of the border. But again, we're not alone. Many of the European partners were also considering U.S. technology, U.S. capability, and have explicitly said they won't do it. So, I think we're in a good place, notwithstanding the sensitivities south of the border. And, that this is a good decision for Canada.
Lastly, just because you were the commander of the Navy, I do want to ask you about the subs. It's come down to a decision, and as we enter June, that decision will be made in the month of June. German or South Korean subs. There is no American bid here. Do you have a sense of which way we as a country might go?
I actually don't, and I'm not just playing
it seems like
neutral.
Nobody does.
Well, and I think that is actually a good thing. Look, at the end of the day, both of these capabilities are state-of-the-art, world-class capabilities. But more importantly, the bids that have been presented from both Hanwha Ocean in Korea and TKMS in Germany, partnering with the Norwegians, by the way, are fantastic for the country. And so, in my mind, there's no bad choice here. And, I look forward to hearing, like everybody else, what the outcome's going to be. But once that happened, let's be clear to you and your viewers, we're still in going to be months of negotiations. So not unlike the Saab aircraft deal, this is an announcement to enter into negotiation. The deal itself will take some time to be finalized. But ultimately, this is good, and it's good for decades to come.
Mark Norman, good to see you.
Thanks a lot, David. All the best to you and your viewers.